Hold out, hold in. What is going on?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, we welcome you, everybody, to Locked On Lions for a Tuesday, July 22nd and a Wednesday, July 23rd. Matt Derry with you. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen, and thank you for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. If you missed yesterday's show, Nate Burleson from CBS Sports was absolutely awesome. The former Lions wide receiver just brought it. A lot of energy, so much fun. One of the best guests we've ever had on this show. So if you missed yesterday's show, go back, watch it on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel, find it on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts, because Nate was fantastic. Busy show today. We will hear from the Gaines Media poster boy. Yes, Alex Anzalone speaks to the media. Give him credit. He took all questions. I just don't know what's going on right now with the Lions linebacker. Is he hurt? Is he holding in? Is he holding out? Is he going to play? Is he upset? Is he happy? We're going to play you like three and a half minutes of this, and I don't have any answers after listening to this. Hey, but at least he spoke. Locked On Lions brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Want to be our call of the day? We're going to play a call of the day today. Some of our everydayers that chime in and leave a voicemail, you can do that at speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page, speakpipe.com/dairy, DERY podcast page. We'll get into the Anzalone situation, the latest on the injuries that are occurring at the training camp as a day 3 down at 222 Rodwood Drive is in the books. 2 players that I've heard from people on the inside telling me are already having stellar camps. We will mention those guys and their importance to the team. And then again, call of the day at the end of the program. All right, I'm going to play you some audio here in a minute. Lions linebacker Alex Anzalone walked over to the assembled media today and did speak, did talk about his current situation. For those of you that have been under a rock and do not know, Alex is on the last year of his 3-year, $18 million contract that he signed a few years ago. He has been a 4-time team captain. He has been elected a team captain for this season. And he is a guy that is very well respected, liked in the locker room, and every year has gotten better. He has become a very, very solid NFL linebacker. Now, with that being said, is Alex Anzalone one of the top 100 players in the NFL? No. Is he one of the top linebackers in the league? No, he's not. He's a good, solid player. He is the one that signed his 3-year, $18 million deal. And he's not happy that he doesn't have a contract extension. And he made that pretty clear today. I have a lot of questions about what this situation is from the lens of number 34, the blonde flowing locks, Lions linebacker, as we like to call Gaines Media poster boy. Our guy, Robert Banker, loves Alex Anzalone. He's the proprietor of Gaines Media, one of our great listeners going back to the 105 day. So Robert and I have coined him the GMBB. Today, Alex was asked, what's going on? What is this? Let's take a listen, and you tell me what you think.
What's the reason?
What do you think?
I feel like the team is appreciating you, and you want to highlight what your stats are? No?
Well, beyond that, what is exactly going on with the contract? Can you speak to
No, you got to stand
talk about that?
Yeah.
Can I ask, why'd you report to camp? Other players might.
It's all relative, right, as far as financial situations. But I'm in a situation where I thought about it, and it's for my own personal goals and what I want for the team. I just didn't think it was the best scenario.
Hey, Alex, given the way you've played the past 2 years, from your perspective, do you feel like you're underpaid relative to other linebackers in the NFL?
Yeah.
When did you reach that conclusion? Was that last season? Midway through last season, I guess. What led to you reaching that conclusion?
I I mean, it's just kind of obvious, I think. Just production, play, the market. Yeah.
What do you hope the resolution will be here?
I mean, I want to retire a Lion. I want that opportunity. That's how I feel.
Do you see yourself returning to the practice field without a new contract?
I mean, I'm just taking this day to day right now. I hope. I mean, we'll see. I have no clue.
Has the team been receptive, Alex, to what you have verbalized to them about the situation?
You got to ask Dan and Brad.
Kind of animosity? How do you avoid that? I mean, obviously you are.
I'm disappointed. Just say that. I'm disappointed.
Alex, what do you think you've proven over your time here about your commitment to this team? Like you came out last year.
Yeah.
You call it legacy.
Yeah.
Yourself. Do you feel like? I guess what do you feel like you've proven about your commitment to this team?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have. Yeah, I think, like you said, I feel like I've done that a lot through my 4 years here, and I'm just in a situation where, it's you want to be rewarded for that, or at least in some regard. Yeah.
How much of you is surprised that this didn't happen in the spring and hasn't happened in the summer? Is there a party that's
for sure. Yeah. This is a weird situation, and I wasn't on my end or my agent's end.
You talked about wanting to retire a Lion. Can you just explain why this place means so much to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like you mentioned. I put so much into, my time here and being a 4-time captain and teammates and the city and, just living here. And, you can list all the reasons. And, it's just important to me. I feel like I love this place. And, it's just... I want that opportunity.
When did you express those desires to the front office?
A while ago.
Alex, this is like a month and a half out, but is this something that could possibly delay you playing this?
No.
What, do you expect to practice at all this preseason? I mean, is that up?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Expectations for the year and the team?
Yeah, I mean, we have.
All right, so there's Alex Anzalone. I'll just stop the tape right there. Look, what I don't know what this is. Alex Anzalone makes $6 million a year. He's upset. Fred Warner makes over $20 million a year. Nick Bolton makes $15 million a year. All right, so is Alex Anzalone, when you look at other linebackers, Zach Bond just got 3 at 51. All right, so linebackers are getting paid. Is Alex as good as Zach Bond or Nick Bolton or Fred Warner? No. But $6 million a year compared to 23 or 15. Bond just got 3 at 51. So what is that? 12, 13. I mean, that's a lot of money. Actually, that's 15, 45. No, that's 17, 18 a year. So he is underpaid and he is upset. But do you really have a hamstring injury, Alex, or not? Because you're sitting out right now with a hamstring and you're basically saying you're unhappy and this is weird. And when asked about the Lions, your answers are ask Dan and Brad. But yet you're there. Like Trey Hendrickson's gone. He's not hanging around Cincinnati or staying on the sidelines. I give Alex credit. He wants to be around his teammates. He wants to retire a Lion. But is this a hold in? Is your hamstring really bothering you? I'm just confused. I'm very confused. Dave Burkett asked him, do you see yourself practicing? Do you see yourself playing? Yeah, I see myself being out there. And so I think he's confused on what to do today. And what the Lions are doing right now is they're dug in. He's 30 years old. He signed that deal, and I think they want him to honor it. And I think they also know they've got a lot of players that are younger than him, might also be better than him, like a Jack Campbell, certainly Jahmyr Gibbs, that they need to re-sign soon. And I think they're putting their chips on the table, and they're going to make Alex play on a 1-year deal, and he's pissed about that. And he feels like he's underpaid. For some of you on social media that I've seen, I know what Lions fans are saying. Nobody put a gun to your head and told you to sign that 3-year, $18 million deal after the first season you were here, right? So there's that. But if you're holding in, you're not holding out, you're there. So it's a hold in. But then you got this hamstring thing and you're not practicing. I'm just a little bit confused on this situation of what I think Alex doesn't know what to do either. And I don't think the Lions are offering him anything long-term at the moment. Do I want Alex Anzalone here long-term? Sure. I also want Jamison Williams here long-term, and I don't think that's happening. You can't pay everybody. Is he underpaid this season at $6 million a year when guys like Bonner at 18, Boltner at 15, Warner's at 23? Absolutely. But this hamstring, and I'm not sure if I'm practicing. No. But I'll be out there. He's all over the place. And he's disappointed, as he said in the Lions, and he says this is weird. I think he's adding to a little bit of the weirdness too. But you never know. Tomorrow, maybe his hamstring is magically better and he's going to be out there. Dan Campbell said he did great in the workouts, in the testing before camp started, and he's in great shape. I want him on this team this season, especially with the injuries to the D line. The future, I don't know. They may let him go, and that might not be a bad thing. All right, coming up next, injury update from Allen Park. We'll do that coming up next. Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at Rugiet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra, Cialis, maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. All right. You can even read real customer reviews on the Rugiet website. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL. Use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety effectiveness or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. Day 3 of Lions training camp in the books in Allen Park. Fans will be in there later on this week. What's today? Tuesday? So Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll have our first open practice for the Lions as things are revving up down at the Meyer Performance Center. Tomorrow I've got some audio for you from Nick Wright from Fox. He is off of the Lions bandwagon. A lot of haters out there. And I get it. I understand. No Ragnow, no Zeitler, no Ben Johnson, no Aaron Glenn. Aleem McNeil's going to be out for a while. I get it. There's people out there that don't believe in this team. Still a lot of talent on this team. All right. Injury-wise, here's some updates for you. Before practice today, Dan Campbell, and these were not good updates, by the way. I don't like hearing this. Dan Campbell was asked about a few players. Mekhi Wingo is a guy the Lions desperately need. All right. Interior of the defensive line is going to be without Aleem McNeil, going to be without Levi Onwuzurike. Aleem, they're thinking November. Levi's done for the year. Roy Lopez is hurt right now. Josh Pascal's not going to be back until September. It is thin along the interior of that Lions defensive line. When asked today about Mekhi Wingo, Dan Campbell said, Wingo's probably September. So you're not going to likely have him week 1. Miles Frazier, Lions 5th round pick, had a great rookie mini camp. He's got a knee problem. Campbell's calling it September, October. Quote, let's say something like that, end quote. Malcolm Rodriguez, October for his return. Coming back from that injury from last year. Best news of the day from Dan Campbell was on Khalil Dorsey. Quote, I would say Dorsey's probably the closest of that group. We're hoping late camp we could get Dorsey back. He's doing well. He's running. His speed it's there. Now it's just about being able to put your foot in the ground and make a transitional, end quote. Stanley Thomas Oliver, the cornerback, didn't practice today. Ennis Rakestraw did not practice today. DJ Reed was back at practice today after the birth of his third child. Roy Lopez, foot injury. Sione Vaki, hamstring. Broderick Martin, foot. There's a stunner. For all of you like holding hope that Broderick Martin is going to be something, hey, more power to you. And tackle Jamarco Jones had to leave camp today with a cramp, but that's all it is. This has been a wild start to training camp with all of the injuries. My goodness, that's just a lot of D linemen that are going to be missing. That is why I believe at some point they've got to bring Zadarius Smith back. And again, we're in training camp. It's July, all right? It might not be until a month from now, but it would just add depth and big bodies. And I'm not saying Zadarius Smith's going to play nose tackle or interior, play tackle or three technique or any of that stuff, but you got to believe that's a guy that's on the radar and eventually will be back. Now, two players that are having big camps so far. And the good news is, and Jeff Risdon pointed this out yesterday on the Lions Wire, but Marcus Davenport has started off very well at camp. And I know the jokes are out there, and I was listening to Valeni today say it on the ticket. Marcus Davenport's played in like 12 games in 3 years. But he is vital to the success of this team. And if he can somehow stay healthy, he's a really good football player. And that's that edge spot that the Lions need production. So far, Marcus Davenport, I know yesterday especially, I talked to somebody that said he had a monster day on Monday, was wrecking shop, was moving bodies, and Marcus Davenport looks like in great shape and somebody that is having a very good camp so far. Again, it's 3 days in, but Lions need production. They need production from the defensive line. This is a massive undertaking here for Casey Rogers, the new D-line coach, and Hank Fraley, the offensive line coach, with just all the injuries and the defections and Zeitler leaving and Ragnow retiring and everything else on the offensive line. On the defensive line, they're just banged up. I mean, my goodness, the last couple of years, man, on that defense. But Marcus Davenport, when healthy, really good football player. Off to a good start. The other guy that is making waves is Jameson Williams. And count me in on the Jamo bandwagon. I know many of you think some of you listeners out there think I hate him. That's the stupidest take ever. I'm hard on Jameson Williams because he just makes so many mistakes off the field, and he's hurt his team by being suspended. But when on the field, this guy is going to be an absolute monster. And you wonder if last couple seasons, they didn't unleash the Jamo that could be a 120, 130 a game yard receiver. And that this year under John Morton, maybe, just maybe, we're going to see more reverses to Jameson Williams, more deep balls. And look, you got to spread the wealth around. The Lions have a really good run game. Right? Jahmyr Gibbs is a stud. David Montgomery is a beast. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 receiver in the game. Sam Laporta is a top 5 tight end in the game. All right. Tim Patrick is a really nice, big-bodied third down receiver that can make plays. Khalif Raymond in space is quick and fast. They want to take a look at Isaac Tesla, the 3rd round pick. But Jameson Williams is already, there's oohs and ahs from the sidelines from both the media and the staff and the team when he touches the football. Wearing number 1 this year. Jamo has been very good so far. So that's a great sign. Great sign. And look, he's playing. He wants to get paid, right? He's got 2 more years left with the option year next year that the Lions already picked up, but he wants to cash in. But he's off to a really good start in training camp. But we're not going to see him next week. when the Lions play in the preseason opener, the Hall of Fame game on July 31st. Man, that's a week from Thursday. Crazy. I'm just excited to sit down and watch football. I know the first quarter, I'll be like, ooh, and then by the third quarter, I'm like, just end this madness. But I'm just excited to check it out and see it. So, and Hendon Hooker had a really good day yesterday. That's a good thing. Every day it changes. 1 minute it's Kyle Allen looks like he's the backup. Then the next day it's, well, you know what? Hendon Hooker might just win the job. Changes daily. All right, call of the day coming up next. Let's pay some bills first, right here on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions on a Tuesday is sponsored by Betterhelp. Workplace stress is at an all-time high. 61% of the global workforce is reporting higher than normal stress levels. This summer is the perfect time to take some small steps to focus on your wellness and manage the challenges that come with your workday. Of course, most of us can't just quit our jobs or take endless vacations. That'd be nice. But we can start small, whether it's getting outside for a few minutes, adding movement into your day, or talking to somebody who can help you navigate life's challenges. That's where BetterHelp comes in. All right. How busy is your schedule? Do you ever wish you had more time to schedule appointments? Well, the flexibility of online therapy with BetterHelp makes it easy to fit sessions into a busy schedule no matter where you are. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. And we are also brought to you in part today by FanDuel. Summer sports are here, as we know. Man, what's going on with the Tigers? If you want to put some money down the Tigers, they got to beat the Pirates tonight, right? If you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or even high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. Plus, FanDuel has all the future bets on the Lions, season win total, 10.5, all of that right there on FanDuel. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you are part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, it's simple. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Man, I do that FanDuel read, and it just reminds me of the old days at DFN with Rob Parker and Mark Wilson. Hey, Mark, go get dueled. Remember those days? Oh, man. A lot of fun. I'm not sure they have as much fun on radio as these days as we had back at DFN late 90s, early 2000s. All right, time for our call of the day. This is when we hear from one of our listeners. And if you want to be our call of the day, it is simple. You go to speakpipe.com/dairy podcast page, leave a voicemail, and if it's a good one, we might play it on the show. Today, this is a guy that's called in before, but didn't leave his name. We call him Anonymous.
Matt, I think we really should take a moment and reflect back on the draft where Brad Holmes got raked over the coals for not taking an edge in the first round and then gasp he didn't take one in the second round. Thank God he didn't. I mean, can you imagine if we didn't have Tyleik Williams, if we didn't have Tate Ratledge, we would be screwed on both sides of the ball in the trenches. And I think it just shows that these coaches, these GMs, they know so much more about these, but they knew Frank was leaving, right? They probably knew something with Levi was creeping up. I mean, I don't know, but they know what's happening with all these guys. I mean, maybe you could say Tesla was still maybe not the priority in the third round, but again, like we got to replace Jamo at some point, probably. So, I think we should just take a second and get some hindsight because people were just freaking out over that draft.
All right, Mr. Anonymous checking in. Great call, and he's spot on. And look, I'm guilty, all right? And I'm not somebody that's not going to scold myself sometimes. I do. I'm not right about every take I have. You guys tune into the show every day for opinions, news, good guests. We try to entertain and have fun. Sometimes I say some stupid stuff. Okay, I just do. When Jahmyr Gibbs got drafted, I'm like, what are they doing? Taking a running back at 12 and a middle linebacker at 18. And Gibbs and Jack Campbell are both cornerstones. They're really good players. As far as the draft went, yeah, I thought this year the Lions were going to have an edge rusher in the mix. And I didn't think they would wait until the 6th round to take Ahmed Hassanin. But as the caller pointed out, we didn't know. All right. Matt Derry didn't know. Calls of the Day didn't know. Everydayers didn't know. Turner Batdorf didn't know. Chris Druin didn't know. All right. I mentioned Robert Banker. All of our everydayers, all of our regulars, my boy Josh Choice. You guys didn't know. None of us knew that Levi Onwuzurike was not going to play. And free agency comes before the draft. Pride comes before the fall. Free agency comes before the draft. And as the Lions and Dan Kimball pointed out the other day, like, Levi was messing around month and a half after the season and decided to shut it down and have ACL surgery. So, or maybe it was 3 months. Regardless, the Lions on draft night, they knew Levi wasn't going to be available, right? Second, third opinion, whatever. The guy's got an injury history. The Ratledge thing. The Lions knew that for the last 2 years, Frank Ragnow, and Taylor Decker mentioned this yesterday, Frank Ragnow had been considering retirement. So they were covering their bases. Yes, an edge rusher is still needed. And yes, somebody will step up. And yes, they re-signed a lot of guys. Brought back Muhammad. They brought back Davenport. They'll likely bring back, I still think, Zadarius Smith. But they looked up and said, we've got to have Tyleek Williams. Not only do we like the football player, but he's going to play a big role right away. Tate Ratledge, same thing. They saw him as a center right away and snagged him in the 2nd round. So, yeah, sometimes they do know better than us, for sure. But on draft night, they're not going to announce to us that Ragnow's leaving. I'm sure they were still hopeful that maybe he would change his mind, and he didn't. All right, that'll do it for us. It's a Tuesday Locked On Lions. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Check us out on our Locked On Lions YouTube page and wherever you get your podcasts.